Hello everyone, MFPallytime here, and welcome back to the A through Z playthrough. Hope you guys are doing well today. In today's video, we have landed on Muradin, one of my favorite characters in the game, not only to play, but to play with. He is the tankiest of tanks in a lot of cases, but he can also be built to deal a very large amount of damage, a very high amount of damage in the right circumstances. As of right now, Muradin has a 48.97% win rate, with a popularity of 28.52%. I checked earlier, he is the 15th most popular character in this game. And even though he's super popular, we're seeing a ban rate of only 3.75%. So if you'd like to play Muradin, in most cases, you can. And I would highly recommend it. Today we're doing a damage Muradin build, so keep that in mind. It's going to be a little weird for a lot of you tanking purists, but I feel as though in quick match you can really capitalize on Muradin's damage burst in a lot of really big ways, especially in compositions where your team may not have a healer and the enemy team doesn't as a result. We have seen some pretty big reworks to Muradin over the years. The most recent one was on October 17th, 2017. This is where they introduced the playstyle of stacking up perfect storm damage and then also being able to use that damage that you're stacking up on structures and minions and mercenaries, giving Muradin a very large amount of lane clear if he wants to use his main form of CC for that. Personally, I don't fall into that camp very often. I like actually stunning people and not stunning things. However, this Perfect Storm quest has changed a lot over the years. For instance, there's a baseline component of Muradin. If you land 10 stuns now, your stun pierces. This used to be a talent. We see this talent has changed quite a lot. You now have to auto-attack enemies rather than this just being previously throw your Q at them. And every time you land your Q, it deals bonus damage. But there are some, talents in here mixed around. Even though Muradin's one of the oldest characters in the game, Bronzebeard's Rage is just burning rage, made special to Muradin, made a little unique to Muradin. Imposing Presence is an old school talent. He still holds on to Rewind. So a lot of the characteristics of the early days of Heroes of the Storm can be found on Muradin. And maybe that's one of the reasons I like him so much. I'm going to just start out by saying this. I don't think I played particularly great in today's game. And this is another example of a character that I would like to revisit to really give you guys the full scope of what is possible here. But thank you guys for being here nonetheless. I hope you enjoy the game nonetheless. I have to start prepping for Murky. I have no idea how to play him anymore. And that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Take care, guys. See you again soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves on the Battlefield of Eternity today. The friendly team, Muradin, Rhaegar, Greymane, Gul'dan, and Jim Laner. The enemy team, Li Ming, Kharazim, Abathur, Diablo, and Zybla. At level 1, we're going to go for Perfect Storm. Every time Muradin hits an enemy hero with the basic attack, increases Stormbolt's damage by 0.75. If an enemy hero is killed within 3 seconds of being hit with Stormbolt, which is our Q, we will gain an additional 10 damage. This is a great way of scaling our damage up throughout the course of the entire game and leads us into another talent that we might consider for this map. Sledgehammer. Stormbolt deals 350% increased damage to non-heroic enemies. Increase Stormbolt's cooldown by 1 second to 1.5 seconds per base. Did it say decrease? Reading's never been my thing. I know how talents work though. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about it. Looks like Jimmy's gonna head back for some early healing. Does have his sippy cup there. That's what it's for. We might as well use it, right? Kharazim moving up is going to show Diablo in the corner. We're just going to hop right over whatever he was planning and just continue to auto attack him to the best of our ability. Our W ability is Thunderclap. This allows us to deal damage in an area around our character, but also slow the movement speed of an enemy and the attack speed of an enemy as well. Actually, such a fun and useful ability once you get used to jumping into team fights. You can really stop a lot of damage depending on the enemy team's composition. For instance, last game, the enemy had a Taz Dingo, wait for him to get low on health and Thunderclap, and then a lot of his threat goes away. Our E ability is Dwarf Toss. This allows me to jump a long distance to engage, and we're going to be increasing the distance at which I can jump as the game progresses. A lot of people make the mistake of using this just as an engagement tool, and then they don't have any way of walking themselves out of trouble. We're going to try to avoid that today. I do think I am going to go back just to get some mana. Mana in the early game can be a little hard, especially when you cannot easily auto-attack the enemy team. They only have one front line, for instance. It's not like they're a double tank bruiser composition or something. So going up and getting licks on Diablo is proving a little more challenging. We're only at 9 bonus damage right now for our ability. They are very clearly taking that mercenary camp right beneath our team, and they should not be allowed to do that, but they do it anyway. Diablo is really far away from safety at this point, though. We're going to Dwarf Toss our way ahead of him and just try to body block him. And the enemy team may have gotten this merc camp, but we cleared it out before any damage was done. I think that's definitely a net positive. Right at the 2-minute 30-second mark, the objective is going to become active, at least get the warning. We want to make sure that we are getting this merc camp pushing before that starts. I'm not going to go for the PvE damage. We have Rhaegar, we have Jimmy, we have Gul'dan, all fantastic PvE damage dealers. I'm simply not going to need to bring that to my team. Instead, I'm going to pick up Thunderburn. This is going to allow our W to go off a second time. And if that doesn't sound particularly enticing, you just wait. It'll get better. Easy damage on Karazim there. Got a few licks in. We're just going to back away from combat and let our trait Second Wind kick in. This is going to start to heal us up. As long as we haven't taken any damage recently, we're going to be able to recoup a lot of lost HP. Gul'dan is taken down. Looks like... Ooh, good stun follow-up. Too far. I'm going too far. I'm not going far enough. I have to make sure Diablo can't see me. Oh, fuck. We can't stun him, hit him with a slow, and just Dwarf Toss ourselves away. Remember, we do have our trait that'll kick in soon. And I did not use my sippy cup earlier intentionally, so I could use it now. Gul'dan is clearing top. I'm on my way to the team. Looks like Diablo being very disruptful here. We are very ahead right now, though, at least for the moment. Another stun on Diablo. We're just going to continue to hit him. We want to hit him as often as we can. Jumping up to slow him down yet again and continuing to just auto attack. Every single one scales my damage. He's actually helping me a ton, and the team finally getting the memo and rotating over to help myself and Rhaegar. Very nicely done. Nazebo with the zombie wall. We just have to hop ourselves right out of that. If he's not careful, he's going to be hit with a boss stun. We're not soaking bottom lane at the moment, but because we're ahead on XP, that's probably not that big of a deal. I am going to go for Give Him the Axe. This is one of my favorite talents in the entire game, and it fits so well with Muradin's overall setup. It allows us... Oh, I'm glad he didn't go for me, actually. It allows us to deal increased auto attack damage to anyone that has been CC'd by anything. Like, it's actually ridiculous. If someone's slowed at all, we're dealing more damage. As Diablo goes over to attack our... Ooh, good stun on Karazim there. Accidental stun. He actually jumped in front of it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're at 45 stacks so far of our level 1 quest, increasing the scaling of our Q ability. Is that a spider build, Nazebo? It sure is. Those spiders just assassinated someone. Jim Laner looking a little scared. Does have a lot of damage on him, but it looks like he'll be able to jump away. If the enemy team chases too hard, I'm actually going to be able to beat the living crap out of them. I can, especially as the game increases, deal so much single target damage, it's kind of ridiculous. And if Nazebo doesn't learn his lesson from that engagement, he's gonna have a rough time. If you know what I'm saying, he's probably gonna be my main target. I usually play Muradin this way. I usually have a focus on damage. Muradin can be the tankiest tank that ever tanked, and it's so incredible the amount of stuff that he can withstand. However, I've always been a believer that being tanky just isn't enough. You need to bring something else to the table as well, because if you're not a threat to the enemy team, why would they ever focus you? What point does your tankiness have if you can never incentivize someone to attack you? So by playing aggressive, by taking these damage talents, and by going in, I can effectively, in some cases, at least this is how I feel. I don't know if this is true. I don't want to say this as a fact. This is the working theory. In some cases, I can absorb more damage than what a normal Muradin tank would be able to do because people are actually hitting me more, if that makes sense. Leeming with some resets here. Diablo is re-emerging from the base as well to thwart our Rhaegar. At level 10, we're going to grab Haymaker, one of the most fun abilities one could ask for. I got him! I did it! Rhaegar with Bloodlust is not actually what I was hoping for, but that's okay. That's okay. That's totally my fault I died there. Speaking of Bloodlust on the Greymane allowed him to rip and tear through everyone on the enemy team down here in the bottom lane. He did a fantastic job. And the Bloodlust, don't get me wrong, will help us clear this objective much faster. It definitely has its uses. I just really wanted to be healed back up to full HP. Haymaker does have a 40-second cooldown, so basically whenever you want to use it, it should be available for you to use. You can kind of just throw this thing around all the time. I have the least damage on our team, so me moving up here to clear out the wave makes a little bit of sense, I guess, but I'm going to be here for a long time. And we are seeing the enemy team start to gather up down there, so, well, with Greymane dead, this is becoming more of a problem. Yep, they're in a full team fight. And I was just trying to take care of the lanes. I was trying to do the right thing. Diablo is still moving forward here. Maybe we could bait him into some kind of a kick into the base or something. Although if Li Ming's not careful, she's about to get a lot of damage on her as well. That palm was really good, and it is forcing the enemy team to back up, at least for the time being. We have really good damage on Karazim, and he doesn't have palm, but he's going to actually back up to the Merc camp. This has become a full team fight over this. Let's move up and just try to Haymake the main tank out of here, stun Li Ming, and we fully cleared this area. Now we jump in the way of Diablo and just try to be a nuisance, but unfortunately that didn't quite line up as well as I was hoping. That stun does miss. Unfortunately, our health is starting to get a little low, but Karazim jumping into our stuff does help out my damage output quite a lot. Speaking of Karazim, he's engaging again and just barely manages to sneak away as our orcs get taken down. Rhaegar falling and Greymane falling at almost the same time. If only Nazebo is defending this, we should be fine to just move back in, and we should still win this race, especially with Jim and Greymane on the objective. Again, my damage here is pretty inconsequential, but even though that team fight didn't go as well as we hoped, we still managed to grab the Angel. If the enemy team is rotating down on us, we're actually pushed up really far, considering the other two members of our team are on the other side of the map at the moment, but we can at least stand here momentarily. We're going to take Thunderstrike. This allows our W ability to deal more damage to a single target. If you have been paying close attention to this game, you may have noticed that a lot of people are just breaking off and trying to 1v1 me. Well, now we can do a lot of shit. We can make a lot of stuff happen as they attack me, or if I'm able to jump on them, which will get more and more easy as the game continues to progress. Look at that, 480 damage from a single W explosion. That's actually crazy. That's really, really good. It does look like this fight is continuing on a little bit too long for my liking. I'm going to try to stun the enemy team's Diablo. Not quite able to do so, but we managed to stay alive. Now Karazim with the Divine Palm is hit with a Divine Stun soon after, keeping him in place. Now with I guess it's only one member of the enemy team dead because Diablo has reformed. We're just going to hang back here away from all the damage happening and slowly but surely get healed back up to full health from our trade. Jim Raynor is heading in to steal this merc camp from the enemy team. I like this if we're able to do it. Haymaker on cooldown for another 5 seconds. But if they engage really hard, oh, we'll just die. I did manage to get the hop off, and when we do jump, we do gain some armor as well. It is just flat armor, not physical armor, so that's 30% less damage taken when we use our dwarf toss. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late. The stun duration from Diablo locking me down in place for a little bit too long. This fight's still continuing, though. Nazebo for the enemy team, really low on health, but unfortunately, we lose our Rhaegar right as the objective is being teased. So we're going to be a little late to this one. I'll be back up in time, but our deaths are kind of split at the moment. I don't think this is a particularly great idea without a healer, but here we are, the team poised in the shrubs, the Reign of Chaos coming down. Diablo not really deciding on a target just yet. Is going to be hit with my stun and slammed into the ground. What do you know? Sometimes the riskiest play can pay off. We do see Li Ming blinking away as well as we were just starting to engage. Let's grab these regen globes here, get ourselves back up to full mana. And at level 16, we are going to grab Dwarf Launch, increases Dwarf Toss range, meaning we can cover, I think it's 40% more distance, 40% more distance. And if we land on an enemy, it's actually going to reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds as well. A lot of really good things from this talent. So, the objective's going very well for us. Diablo reforming in the enemy team's base right now. I think I could really punish this Li Ming, especially if I can't punish anything. I'm leaving. Good totem. I think he just saved me. Diablo kind of moving up, though. Can we do something here? Jumping in, hit him with the single slap. There's the stun. Divine Palm could have saved him there, but the Abathur Shield actually proving to be enough. That's okay. That's totally fine. We can get bottom down here if we continue to push this lane, and it looks like that's what the friendly team is doing. Regen Globe once again filling up my mana reserves as well. We kind of put them in a spot where they have to defend top or bottom, and they have to choose. They're going to lose one of these. They're either losing it to us or losing it to the Angel. However, that's looking pretty good. Can we get any core damage in here? I don't think so. But that Hyperion coming out means that we have to try. With Li Ming moving up, we hit her with our Thunderclap for big damage, follow it up with an auto attack. Now that Diablo's on our back line, we're moving in to help out with that as well. I got a good stun on Karazim, making it so he could not land the Divine Palm. And now with Nazebo running away, we can refocus our damage back on the core. With the real Nazebo re-emerging, we can come in for a little bit of damage. I unfortunately missed my stun, or that would have been a kill. Health is starting to get a little low here, but I could tank a little bit more. That Regen Globe will certainly help out. Greymane and Jim Laner on the core. And that's going to be GG. Even as a tank, we are only 8,000 damage underneath a Greymane. Let that sink in for a little bit. This is like the premier bruiser build in my book, and it's on one of the tankiest characters that you could ever hope to play. It is just so much fun. Hey, I took some mercenary kips. Look at me. How would I rate the cooperation of my team? I mean, if you won, isn't it a 5? I'll give him a 4. Who the fuck believes in absolutes? Level 1, we did go for Perfect Storm, Thunderburn, give him the X, Haymaker, into Thunderstrike and Dwarf Launch. Again, I want to stress, there are much, much, much tankier builds for Muradin than what we showed here. But this one is really able to be impactful on the battlefield. 30,000 hero damage, 17,000 siege. In all, pretty good game for our Muradin.